Thanks for tuning in to the Pilot Ryan and Captain Mike RC YouTube channel. In this video, I want to show you exactly how I repair a big crash. You saw the clip where the thing landed upside down. It didn't look too bad, but there actually was some damage that you didn't really see. Some superficial and some structural, but we fixed it and we've flown it since, and this is how I fix them. And you'll see that it really is doable. I was expecting to fully do an open part transplant, but I didn't have to. In the process of showing you guys how I fixed the plane, I decided I really don't need to replace the fuselage and only replace the rudder and a servo because it landed hard upside down. But anyway, guys, this is fun. It's full of value. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comment section. If you make it to the end of this video, you're a hanger rat forever. I'd love to see you come over to the weekly live stream Saturday nights, 9 o'clock Eastern time. And if you subscribe or you're a subscriber already, tap the notification bell if you want to see when new content is posted, because we do this all the time. We post videos, and if the weather's just awful, we at least always have the Saturday night show, 9 months in a row at this point. So guys, all right, let's get into it, and I'll show you how I fix a foam airplane. Mix up the epoxy. This is quick stuff. It's 5 minutes. We don't have a lot of time to work. Spreaders. It's going to be messy, but we can do it. We can do it. We can pull our spreader. Nice. Now we have to work the top while we still can. We're going to incorporate the spreader technique once again, and we must hurry. We stabilize the firewall structure with some good work on the fuselage here, and we might be able to bring this back. Pull the spreader, and now we can fill a little bit as well at the same time with the epoxy. We know we have to paint. We know we're going to have to do some cosmetic reconstruction, but if we can get things back to shape, we'll be all right. We need some pins. We're using finish nails as pins. That looks like we're going to be okay. Whew. What we're going to do on this one is use some foam tack on the wing root here. We give us enough room for the glue to actually do something here. Foam tack stat. This stuff is also available. Links are in the description. Get your own foam tack, made in the USA. Available right here. That settles in pretty nice. I'm going to finger it in once. And fill again. Alright, so now we're just going to assemble the wing so it can be, those plastic plates will be where they belong. Make sure everything fits wonderfully, so putting the aircraft back together will be no problem. Making sure there's no obstructions. Wonderful. Now we're going to support the middle. You can see there's some pressure on the wing joint, just a little bit, but it's on both sides, so no big deal. Okay, on my count. 1, 2, 3. Now the foam tack's a nice slow cure. It'll dry clear. It remains flexible. That's what we want. Okay, the other wing problems are definitely superficial, so we can move on. This is how you fix a foam airplane. Now you'll definitely want to do something to hold that down. It's the kind of thing that you want to glue it, mate the surfaces, and then introduce some air in there. I'm supposed to give it 90 seconds. I want to make sure it's down really well. So I'm going to go ahead and put the aircraft in traction. Very good. That will hold it, no doubt. Doesn't look nice, but the epoxy's doing its job. It's setting up pretty good. Let's take a look at the bottom. That looks pretty good. Now we're going to take another look at some of the screw downs for the cowling in the front. These definitely took a bit of a beating, and that's no big deal either. There's one that came loose right there, and these are our screw downs for the cowling, which must be replaced. You can use epoxy or foam tack, whatever you have. I definitely wanted to use epoxy for putting basically the face back together of this thing, but not too worried about the rest of these types of things here. That one's loose too. Go ahead and pull it off. What's nice is they didn't paint it and then glue these in. They had these in and then painted, which in most cases makes for definitely a better glue joint, unless of course you land the plane as hard as it will in a body slam inverted. While we're here also, we want to take a look at this motor mount. It's actually a little bit loose, and it doesn't surprise me considering the hit it took. All around the motor mount could use a little bit of something. And that's another one of those things where you can use whatever you'd like. I'm going to make a little bit of room around here. Just make some area for the glue to go so it's not 100% superficial. That gives me room to really work that foam tack into there. And it's in there pretty good. I don't think it would come out, but it definitely should be tightened up. Some of you guys will like CA and things like that for this. And that's okay too if it's the thicker stuff. I think it's kind of brittle, so I prefer this. But we're going to go for it. Some of you guys already have your preferred adhesives you like for these kinds of jobs. I also like the foam tack because you get some work time. That seemed to run in there really nice. These are going to be great. I'm going to even do some up there where it doesn't seem to matter. I can put the old busted up cowl on just to help hold things together in place. Help hold things together. Good. There's one more major fix I want to do, then it's all superficial from here. Obviously we'll replace this cowling with a new one. We could go with this one, but it's definitely ugly. And another thing too is make sure you've got a spare shaft on hand in case this one got bent. Check your hubs out, your props, all that stuff. The battery hatch is actually in okay shape, so we're going to see about keeping that. Here's the last big fix. So what we do here is we reclaim the base that was removed in the crash. Then we remove it and go ahead and dry fit this back in here. It ought to fit really smartly down in there. Make sure it's nice and flat because it does have to hold the vertical stab. This ought to fit pretty good like a puzzle piece. I have the other foam that goes on the other side. we're going to foam tack it because we can. And we're going to go ahead and rip this off or peel it. Yeah, we'll take it off. I have the other one as well. You can see there's an arrow, you can't get it wrong. There's the square. We're just going to go ahead and re-glue this. Making sure it sits flush very nicely. Nice and flat in there in the proper way. We'll run a little bit right there as well, which does two jobs, both sides. That will receive the foam bits that are missing and also glue it from the top. It's wonderful. This will fill and take paint really well. Oh yeah. Very nice. Keep all the pieces. That's one of the most important things. When you go to the crash site, pick up everything you can. Whether you think it's important or not, it probably is. These little foam bits were just laying out there, and I figured, I mean, obviously they're to something. So here we go. The vertical stabilizer, once the glue is dry, can be reinstalled. We're going to let this dry first though. We've got the horizontal, which is in pretty good shape, except at the glue joint and right there you can see. So again, I'm going to curve cut a little bit this way to make room for some glue. A little bit there too. Make it nice and easy to get some glue down in there. And I'm also doing it across. And I want to embed this. It could go longer, but I think this will be sufficient. So we're going to cut this deep enough to embed that in there. Can't be afraid of the foam, y'all. I just want to know that it's going to fit under flush so I can fill it. Let's go ahead and do a little bit more. Just a little bit more. It's got to be under flush here because you're going to impede the way it sits in the aircraft fuselage if you don't. That's actually quite nice. If I had CA, I might just CA it right how it is and let it wick, but I don't. So we're foam tacking it. I hope that's enough. Oh yeah, look at that. That's doing really well. Under flush. Oh yeah. Make sure we get it in our glue joints really good right there. And like I've been doing, I'm going to go ahead and run another bead. Outstanding. This is how you fix a foam airplane, guys. Next we'll do some paint, some filling, maybe some sanding. We'll see. Very good. We're going to run it one more time, and any leftovers going on that glue joint. It's really taking it, actually, these big beads. And that ought to be sufficient. The workhorse of the Pacific, we'll fix her. Now we're going to knock down our high points so we can get ready to fill this back in and start bringing this baby back to shape. We can tell we got a low spot here because it's not taking the sandpaper, the sanding sponge, which I'm already on a fine grit. But I'm going to rough it up anyway because I want to make sure when I fill, it adheres well. You can go with more aggressive sandpaper too if you have it around 180. It's not going to be perfect, but we can try. Knock down your high points so when you put your filler on them, you don't make a lot of work for yourself. Take a look underneath. Take that shine off. Weather the plane a little bit, you know. Blend it. This all is going to help add to the weathering. We're going to go ahead and weather this one up. There's some things to fill, and we can bring it back. Alright guys, so my foam finish, my foam tack stuff was all dried up. I got this stuff at the hardware store. Flexible and sandable, bonds to so many different things, won't flash the paint. So I've never tried it, but I'm going to try it out this time on this repair right here. Let's see what happens. Alright, here we are back here with it. I got the lid off. Always keep gift cards from the coffee shop, old hotel keys, things like that, because these are just wonderful and you can throw them away. Even a business card, if you're in a pinch, is a good like mud knife for fixing the plane. So let's see what we get here. I'm gonna leave it tight so you can see what's going on, even though the camera's totally in my way right now. That's a lot more. That's probably enough to do this whole first pass. So I know I got some low spots here. Spread some things on. You see it fill the cracks up. And just like when you're doing this for, like if any of you've ever done drywall, less is more. You don't want to put a bunch on. So I put it on and then just rub it off. And I can deal with the panel lines later. And this stuff is not supposed to like shrink like a lot of stuff will do. I gotta be honest, it doesn't bother me if the stuff does shrink. I'll just hit it again. But I do want to put my panel lines back. I always like to do that. And sometimes you do have a low spot that you might want to fill a little so you can back off the pressure. But this will paint up nice when we're done. And also, if you're a real stickler, when this starts drying a little bit, the foam finish was the same way. You can get it wet and work it. But I wouldn't do that on these first passes. Because the more you leave on, the more sanding you're going to have to do, or the more mud work you're going to have to continue to do. So it's kind of nice sometimes to, you know, we are in the doctor's office fixing up the plane, so it's kind of nice to screed off your your tool every now and then. You can always get back in there. Just like doing the walls, you keep a clean tool is definitely very helpful. Clean tool so you don't drag a piece of grit. And then the human nature is to stay with it and just keep working it to death. But it'll start gumming up on you. So the best thing to do is just get started, fill a little bit, and walk away. Again, you can get things wet to fix it. And you know what? While it's still fresh, you can bring your panel lines back if you got stuff in there. Not a bad idea. I guarantee you I'll have to put some more in here, but that's okay. One more little gash that I want to fill. You can tell it's low because it didn't even take the mud yet, like right there at the seam. It's okay, I'm just gonna leave it just like that and fill it later because I know that's where I want it. That's what I have to make up. It's what got smashed. A little bit of work on the battery hatch as well. And once you sand and paint, this stuff ought to look really good. And I gotta tell you, I've never worked with this particular stuff, but I made the best choice I could while I was at the Lowe's. And I think this is gonna work out pretty good, especially since it's sandable and all that kind of stuff. So putting it on thin, skim coat. And you know, battle weary Corsair, when I paint it, I'm gonna probably brush paint and stop at panels, you know. It'll make sense. And that way, if there's a difference in sheen, it'll look like panel lines. It'll be okay. I am gonna go ahead and fill that. I can't stand it. Done for this pass right now, and then we'll walk away. Like I said, it's very hard to walk away because you want to just keep on filling and fixing. All right, we'll nurse it back. We can rebuild him. We got it wet sanded and sanded. It's in good shape. We're going to do one more pass of product on here. Just make sure everything that I like everything, and then it is what it is at that point. That's doing really good. I'm really glad that I wet sanded and, you know, sanded first because I don't have any little bumps. And this is covering really well because of it. And while it's fresh, I go ahead and bring my panel lines back. Same with this one. Tool clean. It's feeling really nice, actually. Dig out those panel lines a little bit. It's the kind of thing that will show later when you paint it if you don't. Doing it before the stuff dries is always a little easier. That is nice. Put a little bit more to fill up right here. I think it needs it probably. And it's nice to know already, because this is the first time I've used this stuff, but it wet sands out really nice. Let this stuff dry, smooth it out, put some paint on it, and see if we're done. Sometimes these compound curves, you're almost better off with your finger in the first place. That'll be all right. We'll wet sand that and call it a day. Paint it up. You know what, we're going to go ahead and try filling the panel lines and stuff. They'll still show up. That'll be neat. See what we get. This is paint that I have left over, the F4 seats, Free Wing F4. This is like the perfect color to touch up this stuff. It's the kind of stuff that happens when you land full blast, upside down, and body slam the plane into the dirt. Fits like a glove. And the blues don't match perfectly, but that's okay. My touch-up paint doesn't match perfectly. That's all right. Looking in there, I'm glad I touched up that paint actually to the side. I have an extra shaft in case this one is bent, but it seems pretty good. Nice to see a propeller on here again. Looks pretty good considering. Did a lot of filling and painting there. It's okay, that's rough. We may do a wash over this bird, not sure. But we gotta get things back together here. Make sure it's nice and flush. You know you got plenty of glue on it, so it's all right. I'm not gonna push and pull. It'll have plenty of time to cure, and looks good to me. We're going with it. Horizontal stabilizer time. Easy peasy. Been repaired, looks good. We can rebuild him with 4 screws like this. Fantastic. Now it's time for the rudder. We got a new one of these because it was so bad. The rudder was fixable, but I really didn't want to mess with it. So brand new rudder. This had to be glued back in, but it broke pretty cleanly, and then I collected the foam from the wreck site. So nice. It's like a glove. And I gotta go back and forth to re-tap the holes. The other side is the same way. Since it's a new vertical, I'm re-tapping. And you can tell I fixed it here, but it looks okay. Everything looks nice and even, just like before. All right, it's time to get the wing on. This job is done about. So here's the wing going back on. It's been repaired. You can see this nice metal work right there. It's kind of cool. There was a big hole gash went right through the wing. But the thing is, the wing is hollow. Filling it didn't make any sense. And then we had a crack in the root. You always want to get all the pieces you can when you go to pick up your carnage if you wreck your airplane. Because you can definitely reuse a lot of your parts. I cannot wait to fly this baby and continue weathering it. So the crash definitely helped get it battle weary. A little bit of foam tack action and satisfaction. Looks good. Nice. Like a plane again. Okay, carefully gonna run it up. Fantastic. Super smooth. Congratulations, you made it to the end of this video. I did start with like 3 hours of footage, so I'm pretty proud of myself to have it under 40 minutes, or around 40. Who knows what it's going to do with these intros and outros, but hopefully you learned something. If you have anything else you would like to share to the community, please put it in the comment section below, or jump on the RC Pilots Lounge Facebook group and share your value with the community right there. We love to see it. There's always more than one way to skin a cat, so to say. These are the ways that I fix a foam airplane, and you may have other ways that we'd like to see. So please come on, join the community. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far and you're not a subscriber, consider doing it. Again, tap the bell so you see when we post new videos up. We do a weekly podcast style live stream Saturday nights, 9 Eastern. We'd love to have you come by to the RC Pilots Lounge. It's also right here on this channel. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. Check out the videos I have in the card and the end screen, because this baby has flown since all that, and it was amazing. And we had some fun with this thing at the hospital as well when we were assessing damage early on. So the cards and the end screen videos, check them out to see more on this whole big deal of the Corsair repair over here on the Pilot Ryan and Captain Mike YouTube channel. Thanks a lot. See ya.